The landscape is for the first time in my life, it's the landscape of my life. I grew up in this landscape, social and religious landscape. Usually in my books, I use other landscapes, and there is no my life, never. My life is everywhere, but just hidden. But the landscapes are the sea. In this case, it's exactly the world in which I grew up. And the stories are the stories that I saw in my life in these years. Just cut, and it's a patchwork of different characters that I met in my life, really. So it's different from the other books, because I think that the most of the stories of this book are true in some way. It's a composition of different, not particularly my story, because my story was not interesting. I had just a very simple story of Catholic young, but I knew that. I knew all these different stories. We lived in a small world, thinking that this was the only right and the only word, okay? But it was true that outside we can meet a totally different way of life. Most of this way of life apparently was stupid, but sometimes there was some special light, and we can record this, and just. And the case of the beauty of the girl is a little synthetic, if you want. But I remember very well that I was moved by single pieces of the world that was coming to me from outside. Okay, there was not synthetic and perfect. One girl and the beauty was not so easy. It was more complicated. But of course, there was another world, another way of life, and it was not so stupid. Because in the Catholic society, if you want, the idea of beauty was really domestic and a little cheap, and because too much ethic reasons. But the pleasure for the beauty, just this, the pleasure for the beauty, it didn't exist. Because it was always something that was beautiful, but also good and some useless,
I'm sure that when I get home, I think, I forget to ask this, and I didn't ask that, and I didn't talk about that. But we need another hour for that, another time maybe.
Okay. Anyway.
So for me, it's just great, of course, to meet you after all these years, because it's now 14 years that I'm really the one who introduced you on stage in Holland, so I'm a little bit proud of that. I think we sold a lot of books here because of me.
Because of you.
Yes.
Yes. No, it's true. It's true. I know that I have to be grateful. For so many people in the world, not only you. Not only for you.
Yeah.
But it's exactly like that. It's like with translators and publishing houses. I know. So we spent together 14 years. No.
Yes, about 14 years. Yes, that's when I started.
And finally we met.
Always
is a deception, no? Always.
Well,
for me, always a deception when I meet the big writers of my life.
Yeah.
But I know this before, so okay, it's okay.
Well, it wasn't. No, you're a very gentle man. It was not a deception for me at all. But I thought, in relation to the magic of your work, I thought maybe it's better not to meet him.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's all about imagination, your work. You, for me, also.
I go back.
You go back.